the information evening video about sociology A-level. There'll be 2 exams for the PPE1. The first one's Education with Theories and Methods. It'll be 2 hours and it will be the week beginning 16th November 2020. The second paper will be Families and Households, Beliefs in Society, and that again will be 2 hours and again the week beginning 16th November. These will be full papers and both from the same year, so we'll actually have the same mark scheme and grade boundaries to match with those, so hopefully we'll have a fairly accurate picture of where people are up to. The topics of studies so far are education, families and households, beliefs in society, sociological theory, sociological research methods, and after the PPE we'll be looking at crime and deviance. Because we haven't studied that, there won't be any exam questions regarding crime and deviance. The first paper is Education, Theories and Methods. It has 6 questions on it. The first one is an outline question, which is a 4-mark question, and it's made up in 2 parts, so it's basically 2 definitions with examples. So it's 2 lots of 2 marks equaling the 4. Question 2 is another outline question, and that will be 3 terms and 3 examples. Again, so it's like 3 parts of 6 marks, so 2 marks each. Question 3 is a 10-mark question with an item, so it gives you guidance on where you should be directing your answer. It'll have material with it as well, and that's a 10-mark question, so there'll be 5 marks on one thing that's in the question and 5 marks on the other, so it's 2 big paragraphs basically. Question 4 is a long 30-mark essay, and I'll come back to essays in a minute, and that'll be a purely an education essay. Number 5 will be an education methods in context question, again 20 marks, and again with an item to give you some guidance on which direction you should be going, and that is put together as the 30-mark essay is, but with slightly fewer paragraphs. At the end there's a question 6, which is outline explain question, which like question 3 is 2 lots of 5. So there'll be 2 terms to look at or 2 things to look at, and you need to write a paragraph on each, so it's 2 5-mark paragraphs really. Paper 2 covers families and households and beliefs in society, and the questions follow the same outline for each section. So question 4 and 13 both have 10 marks. They're outline explained just like paper 1, so it's 2 5-mark paragraphs. Numbers 5 and 14 are 10-mark questions with an item to help and guide you. 4 and 13 didn't have an item, so it's purely a question, whereas 5 and 14 both have an item to help you and guide you. And there'll be 2 essays, one on families and households, one on beliefs in society, and the essay will be worth 20 marks, and we're going to go through essays in a minute, what's included in that. Assessment objectives, and this gets harder as you go down, you get more marks for it. So A01 is basically presenting the arguments, you are answering the question. It's a basic level. Question 2 is using some of what you've learned to explain what is happening and giving evidence and giving examples and making judgments. And A03, which is the hardest bit, which is the analysis and evaluation, high-level skills, and that will gain you more marks. It will also include in that is the synoptic links between the various bits of sociology. So start with you're presenting your arguments, you're making judgments, and you're drawing conclusions. And remember, you never say, I think this. What you need to say is the research shows this or something similar to that. Never ever say what I think, because the examiner doesn't want to know what you think, he wants to know what you understand. The command words in the questions are as on the sheet. So to start with, you've got outline, which is very basic questions at the beginning. These are the 4 and 10-mark questions, giving bits of information, and you're giving sentence answers. Outline explain is a bit more detailed, and you're talking about giving some there. The essays are slightly more difficult, and they're applying materials for an item, so you've got to use what's there. You can say item A says whatever it says, or you can just make sure you include the key words. It's vital that when you look at the question, you highlight key words and tick them off as you go along, just to make sure you've included them all in your answer. And analyze is the higher level skill, where you start looking in more detail. You may be looking also at theories and trying to tie things, evaluate, making judgments. But again, you don't want to say, I think this. You are evaluating the evidence. Your evaluation should match what you've written in the document, in the essay. If it doesn't, you've made a bit of an error. So you need to make sure all things fit together and all match. Things to do with essays, and most of the exams, most of the marks are essays. So we start off by reading the question. Well, so if you don't read the question, you won't be able to answer it. Then you need to make sure you understand it. One way of doing that is highlighting key words, making some notes as you go along, quick notes about what you're going to include, selecting what you want to put in. Again, that's your little essay plan, only a very short essay plan with keywords, so you know where you're going and what you're doing. You may want to add to that as you're writing. And you need to construct it. So we have a structure which the exam board expects you to follow. You can do something else, but you're just making your life more difficult, so I would advise you not to. So we have the deconstruction paragraph at the beginning, where you look at all the key words, you look at what the question the exam board are really asking you is, and you state that clearly. You need to presume the examiner doesn't know anything, and you're having to explain things that you think even are blindingly obvious, just to be on the safe side. So you restate what the question is. At the end, you have a final evaluation saying what the data, what you've written in your essay actually means. You answer the question. There should be a tie between final evaluation and deconstruction paragraphs. One is stating what the question is, the final evaluation is giving what your answer is. In between that, for a 20 marker essay, you need to have 5 paragraphs, 3, normally 4, 2 against whatever you're talking about. 30 mark, you have 7 paragraphs in the middle because you have an extra variable in that question. Normally the 20 markers will have 2 variables, the 30 markers will have 3 variables, hence you need slightly more paragraphs to talk about it. A 20 marker should take you half an hour, 30 marker should take you 45 minutes as a rough guide. Paragraphs, remember, this is the A-level version of the P paragraph, I suppose. We have a point at the beginning, you make your point, you explain what you talked about, you reference it, so that might be giving it to an example of something that's happened in history or in society, or it could be linking it to a theory or to a person or to some sort of research method that's been done. You need to some way evaluate it. Now, the easiest way, what most people do, is criticize whatever you've just said, so you give the opposite point of view with a bit of detail, but you can also reinforce what you've said. So evaluation could be reinforcing what you've said already with another example from somewhere else. So it doesn't have to be a criticism, it could be an alternative to what you're saying or strength of what you're saying. And also we ideally want you to link it to the original question, and ideally we'd like you to link it somewhere to other areas of sociology if that is appropriate. All the paragraphs should link back to the deconstruction paragraph and the original question. If you keep doing that, it keeps you on track and stops you ending up going off at tangents and wasting time, because it is very tight to get everything done, and you don't need to be wasting time at all. You need to make every minute count. The search methods question in particular will need you to use the pervert idea, which is all the different bits: practical, ethical, reliable, validity, evidence, representativeness, and theoretical. The board are moving towards using the idea of PET, which is just practical, ethical, theoretical. Theoretical includes all the things that aren't practical, ethical, basically. Every answer to do with a method should have some sort of practical comment made. That's normally related to money and time, or both. The ethical bit is either it's good ethically or it's bad ethically, and why. And then you've got to pick one of the others for your third paragraph, really, and it's up to you to decide which ones, depending on the information you've been given and looking at the item. This is just a recap of the main areas of sociology, the main theories. You've got the macro side with Marxism, functionalism and feminism, which is the positivist side. And then on the other side, you've got the microbiology, the bottom-up methods, which includes all sorts of different areas. And this is where things are happening at the moment. Weber's the one you're going to use lots of, and interactionism, labeling theory and all those sort of things. We will do slightly more on phenomenology, ethnomethodology and interactionism later on. Remember, feminism is a macro theory, but when it comes to methods, they use qualitative methods rather than quantitative methods. So feminism falls somewhere in the middle, and postmodernism is a bit like that as well. But the main thrust of methods and the main thrust of theories fit nicely into that table, with the exception of the two I've just mentioned. These are the two textbooks you've got, so you've got those to be able to have a look at if you want to use those. There are some sample questions and answers in those if you want to have a look at them at the end, at the back of the book, and various hints. You've also used the workbooks to go with those, so you might want to have a look back at those as well for your revision notes. We've also got these bare bones books, which some people like if they like having lots of writing. These are cut down, so each topic's clearly on 2 A4 pages, which is really good. But some people prefer diagrams and prefer other ways of looking at things. So the textbooks was one option. This is another option. There will be a fourth one when you come to do crime and deviance. But some people have found those to be really useful, and they're very, very current. They're only 2 years old. There's loads of stuff on Google Classroom we can have a look at, some of which may be more useful to others. If you want to double check on a lesson you missed or you want more information on, everything is there, easy accessible to you at any time. So just click on the Google Classroom page and there's shed loads of stuff to look at, including videos and audio files and all sorts of things. So that would help you as well. These are other revision guides which people have found useful. They link again to the main textbook and your workbooks and everything else, so it all ties in, it's all the same order. Some people have found these very useful in the past, and we don't provide those, but if people want to purchase their own, the best place we've found over time has been Amazon, but other people will sell them, and these are very good as well. But it depends what sort of style you want to use your revision from. I would envisage you'd be putting revision notes together or memory cards or whatever, but these are good starting points. Different people have used different ones at different times. If you want to have a look at some of these, we've got some of these in the sociology room. If that, you can have a look at them and see whether that's the style you want to look at or whether you just want to stick with the books you've got already. That's my contact details if you want any more information, and I'll be quite happy to answer any questions you've got. Thank you for listening, and good luck with the exam.